We thought the game was over, and it was time to enjoy our son's grand performance, but little did we know, our son was yanked down by the still not quite dead chubby kid. But at that moment, Debiao rushed to snap an arrow off his body, completely unaware his son was now in front of the camera, ready to rock with it. Watching his son wobble, the chief was just flabbergasted, and then bam, see, down he goes like a sack of potatoes. In the chief's terrified gaze, Debiao struggled to stand tall, fixated on the front, just as the chief snapped back to reality. He rushed in hastily, while other natives shot arrows, and Debiao gritted his teeth, pulling out the sword. He turned and scrambled into the cornfield, only to find his son turned into an ice-cold piece of real estate. See, no one saw that coming. What started as a leisurely gain turned sire, flooding him with a tidal wave of fury. At this moment, he swore to take up his son's weapons and seek revenge on Debiao personally. See, the ultimate manhunt was about to get lit. The man, dragging his wounded body, hides in the trees like an invisible, his wounds sizzling. See, awkward. Suddenly, he glanced around, seeing a horde of my natives closing in, and he didn't even dare to breathe. See, thank goodness they missed him. They rushed past, and he thought had dodged a bullet, but little did he know, his blood was already spilling out. The blood dripped down the leaves, landing right on a native's back. See, fortunately, he was too busy running for his life. Debiao finally breathed a sigh of relief, and without wasting a second, he flipped over and bolted. Out of nowhere, a black cat popped up, sending bad vibes, and sure enough, there was his mom lurking behind. Debiao was so shocked he nearly did the wave, and the big cat just flashed a scary look. See, tension went through the roof. The Mayan natives realized they lost sight of their target, puzzled until they spotted the blood on a comrade's back. That made things clear. So, they rushed back and divided into 3 teams to continue the hunt, but just moments later, strange noises. The next second, Debiao appeared, and the natives sprinted after him, completely oblivious to the Black Panther following right behind. The lead native was ecstatic, refusing to miss his chance to shine, and crazily charged forward, just in time to block the panther. And the outcome? Instant dinner for the panther, plus he just casually saved his enemy's life. When the others caught up, they went full berserk. They eventually killed the panther, but their buddy? He was now just a handsome corpse. To quickly catch up with Debiao, the chief callously abandoned his buddy's body and led the tribe in pursuit. Debiao's wounds were gaping, but he knew the enemies were fast approaching. There was no choice but to chomp on tree bark and keep running. He didn't dare stop for a second, sprinting from day to night, and just when he thought of resting on a tree, he was bone tired. But bam, the enemies were right at his heels, and the chief clearly wasn't going to let this go so easy. He was hellbent on avenging his son at any cost. Seeing the approaching flames, Debiao clenched his teeth and kept fleeing. The Mai lost their target again. A pal noticed paint on a tree, unaware that a spicy snack was lurking nearby, directly chomped down on a major artery, and by the time others arrived, it was way too late. The toxin flowed in, and the comrade began to babble. The chief decided not to waste time and let him fend for himself. He signaled his crew to leave, leaving his little bro lost. Debiao was worn out. With sharp pain shooting from his kidney, his speed dropped like a stone, and it was long before the Mai caught up. They hadn't even reached him yet, but the attacks rained down. See, clearly, their anger hit the roof. Debiao cleverly dodged multiple attacks using the forest. What really sent Debiao over the edge was that in his panic, he nearly dove straight off a cliff. Ahead lay a bottomless pit, and behind him were bloodthirsty natives. In a desperate moment, he made a wild decision. With enemies creeping closer, he gritted his teeth and took the plunge, perhaps hoping for a sliver of luck. Falling into the natives' hands would mean certain doom, but this time, Lady Luck was on Debiao's side. Miraculously, he made it through unharmed, but when he reached the shore, instead of leaving, he stood there mocking his enemies. The chief felt as though he had been stuffed with excrement, but just then, one of his men stepped forward and piped up, saying that jumping down would be too risky and suggested taking a detour instead. Before he could finish, the furious chief launched a sneak attack. He wouldn't let his tribe be cowards, so everyone had no choice. With a little luck, they could land safely, but some unlucky folks met the rocks face first when they hit the water. Instant lunch for some, and for others, if they weren't smashed by rocks, they got sucked away by the raging current. Seeing the craziness, Debiao felt had gone too far. As they were in the water, he fled into the jungle. But after just a few steps, he jumped into a swamp and got into trouble, sinking deeper as he struggled. Luckily, the swamp wasn't too sticky. After 2.5 minutes of effort, Debiao finally emerged. Just then, the Mayan natives caught up, and as they neared, they suddenly hit the brakes. It seemed they spotted something terrifying. See, the muddy Debiao was slowly creeping towards them. The infamous Debiao tossed a massive beehive at his enemies, and the mire went from hunters to bee buffet in an instant. Debiao made a hasty escape, buying himself precious time, but during the run, he suddenly froze, as if he saw something. He reached into a hole, and the next second, bingo, see, he pulled out a shiny golden cicada. If you found this amusing, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.